What's up, Leafs Nation? Wow, what a crazy game last night. Crazy action back and forth, lots of goals. The Leafs win 5-2. It's definitely not Campbell's best game of the season. I believe it's his second sub 900 save percentage game of the season. But shout out to Travis Dermott and Justin Hall for standing behind the goaltender and not letting two goals go in the net and saving it on the goal line. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to keep the puck out of the net and win games, and the Leafs did that last night. So um, pucks were leaking through Jack Campbell yesterday, and hopefully that's not a trend that continues going forward. Like I've said before, goaltending is something that can go south in a hurry. One bad game can turn into two, and it could snowball in a negative direction. And let's hope that was just a blip on the radar for Jack Campbell. But on a more positive note, Jack Campbell is now 9-0, and he's tied Felix Potvin for the longest win streak for a goaltender in Toronto, which is rather impressive. The Leafs have been playing some really good hockey, and you can tell yesterday that um, they really stuck with it. And as the game ratcheted up, the intensity ratcheted up, the energy level for the Leafs also went up. And, once Jason Spezza gets that first goal, the Leafs really started to play different in the second period. But it's like Jason Spezza and Wayne Simmons both had goals yesterday, and it's hard to imagine what this season would look like if the Leafs didn't have veterans like Jason Spezza, Wayne Simmons, Joel Thornton, and the energy they bring. Like, you just watch their celebrations when they score goals. Like Wayne Simmons' celebration when he scores that goal, he's on his knees. He's got two Calgary Flames on top of him. Pierre Engvall makes a great move. He has great vision on this play. He puts the puck right on Simmons' stick, and he's got it flat on the ice. And he directs the puck into the net. And those are the kind of goals you need in the playoffs. Um, I've been harping on the Leafs not getting in front of the net as much, not getting the puck in front of the net as much. And lo and behold, yesterday, Spezza scores that goal from in front of the net. Kerfoot got it out front. Spezza banged it in. Simmons scores from his knees in front of the net. On the power play, the Leafs finally scored on the power play, and they got pucks to the net. There was a lot of traffic. There was a lot of commotion. And Austin Matthews finds the puck from the front of the net and taps it in. And the Leafs finally scored. And you could tell by Matthews' celebration on that power play goal that they were really excited to get that one. And hopefully the power play changes, and hopefully they get a lot more confidence on the power play, and the power play just rolls from here on out. They need to get that sorted out. There's not that many games left in the season. 17 games left in the season. So let's hope it starts trending into the right direction. Matthews had two big goals last night, and he scores the game-winning goal on the power play. And you could just, first of all, that first goal that Matthews scores is a beautiful shot. And once you see him make that play and take that shot and put it in the top corner, you get excited about how he's feeling and how his wrist is feeling. And that shot looked vintage Austin Matthews. And there's just something about William Nylander passing to Austin Matthews and a goal going in. It makes me feel fantastic inside. It gets me all warm and fuzzy. I love to see it. Yeah, so Matthews gets his 26th and 27th goal of the season. And I believe he's got a 5 goal cushion in the race for the Maurice Rocket Richard. And let's hope he just this is just a start of a streak for him, getting hot before the playoffs come around. But he's looked really good the last 2 games. So knock on wood, stay healthy, get better, and keep this going. Um, Tavares, Nylander, and Matthews both had 2 points last night, which is huge. They looked good. They were making passes. They were getting to the front of the net, and Tavares bangs one in from the front of the net. Matthews gets one from the front of the net on the power play. Boys, you got to keep going to the net. Lots of success from in front of the net last night. Tavares got his 800th point of his NHL career last night. 800 and 801. And when you look at his career stats, a lot of fans in Toronto have been pretty hard on him this season. But this guy has 801 points in 853 career games. Hall of Fame career. And he's going to continue to produce. Don't you guys worry about John Tavares. He's a stud. He's always been a stud. Let's hope that his confidence grows as the power play gets better, and he's getting some time on the first power play unit, which I think is going to help. I think the Leafs need more shooters. Like I've said before, when the puck goes to Morgan Riley or Mitch Marner on the power play, whether they're on the point or they're on the boards, there's zero threat to shoot right there. So mostly what the penalty kill on the other team does is they collapse and they make sure that there's no cross seam passes, and they block everything going to the net. And the Leafs just need to be a little bit quicker in moving the puck on the power play. They've been trying that down low play into the slot to get that one-timer, and they just need to be a little bit more crisp, a little bit quicker on the passes, and the goals will come. This team is way too talented not to be scoring on the power play. But yeah, I think when you see Jason Spezza score that first goal, and then Wayne Simmons scored, and his energy is through the roof. He scores and he's running to the bench and he's fist bumping everybody, and his energy levels through the roof. I think it permeates through that entire bench, and I cannot say enough about Kyle Dubas and the additions he made in the offseason in terms of Joe Thornton, Wayne Simmons, Zach Bogosian, TJ Brody. These guys have turned this team around, and it's night and day from what was going on last year. And it's just, you can tell, it doesn't matter which goalie's in net. Hutch has a chance to win every game. Campbell has a chance to win every game. And once Freddie gets healthy and he's ready to go, he's gonna win a lot of games in net too. So, it's crazy when I watch the games, and no matter what's going on, in my head there's zero doubt. I have zero butterflies. I have a little bit of anxiety because guys like Lucic are slew-footing our players, tripping, and the refs are not calling nothing, even though they're staring directly at the play, which, like last night, directly results in a goal. But other than that, pissing me off, I have zero doubt that the Leafs are going to come back and win games. or they're just going to win in general because they're just that much better. And let's start hashtag thank you Alberta, because the Leafs are 7-0-1 in Alberta this season. They own that province. And just the Leafs have shown Leafs Nation a lot this season. They, from the 3-game domination against Edmonton and all the injury adversity and the goalie adversity that they're facing, they're still finding ways to win every single night. And they don't take many penalties. Again, last night, the Leafs had more blocks than their opponent. They're blocking shots. The whole team is buying in. There's a couple of chances where the other teams are getting some prime opportunities in the slot with the goalie down and out. And, like Jake Muzzin with a huge block last night on a play that I thought it was going to be a goal 100%. And on most nights, the Leafs have more blocks than their opposition, which says a lot. That's never really been the case in Toronto, but the guys are buying in 100% from top to bottom. And, if it isn't for the refs managing games, and I think this is where the parity thing comes in. Ever since the NHL started promoting parity, you've really noticed the refs managing games, managing calls, not calling simple penalties like last night. Like the referee is staring at Lucic, raises his foot, trip Brody. It's two rules broken. It's either a slew foot or it's a trip. But either way, you got to call something. But they don't call it, and it directly results in a goal. And what you're really seeing is parity doesn't exist. Shit teams are shit and good teams are good. And what's happening is the referees are keeping the bad teams relevant and in games for entertainment purposes. To say, oh, anybody can win any given night. No, the referees allow any team to win on any given night. But that's not parity. It's the NBA doesn't struggle. The NBA makes more money than the NHL, and what happens is good players go to play with good players. They create great teams, and then those guys get calls. The NBA refs call penalties different for LeBron and Harden, Westbrook, and Durant and those guys, Steph Curry. Those guys get different calls than regular guys. And that's where the entertainment value is in the NBA. The NHL needs to take a page out of that book. Call the penalties. If the Leafs are dominating, don't not make a penalty call because they just had a power play or they're on the power play or they're just coming off a power play. None of that matters. Just call the rule book as it is. Call a penalty a penalty. If it's a penalty, call it. But it's ridiculous what's going on in the NHL, and it's infuriating to watch. The Calgary Flames were they benefited last night, but you can't say Calgary doesn't get breaks. From the Milan Lucic slew foot that resulted in a goal. They scored shorthanded on a bad Leafs power play. Like, they get breaks. They're just a shit team. And Markstrom is not the same Markstrom that was in Vancouver. And they signed him for 6x6. You make bad decisions, you create bad teams, you get bad results. And the NHL refs shouldn't prop them up. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think parity really exists, or is it just the NHL refs managing games? Because that's what I see. Some nights you see the Edmonton Oilers, they get 7 power plays against the Ottawa Senators, and it's mostly because they're dominating puck possession and Ottawa's taking penalties, and that's what it is. But then, you know, the Edmonton Oilers, who are top five in the NHL in power play opportunities, all of a sudden play the Leafs, and 2 out of the 3 games, the Leafs don't take a single penalty. And that's okay. If the Leafs don't commit any infractions, you just don't call any infractions, and that's fine. But it's so different from night to night, and based on who the referee is, it's great. And then, regular season and playoffs, that's a whole totally different thing. It's when you watch games in the playoffs, it doesn't even look like regular season. It's not officiated the same. The calls aren't the same. It's imagine in an NBA playoff game, the NBA ref just put the whistle away and say, you know what? I'm not calling any penalties today like they do in the NHL in the playoffs. Imagine what LeBron or Harden or Westbrook or Steph Curry would do. Imagine just the refs just stop calling penalties or infractions like fouls. It doesn't make any sense. But that's parity. That's the parity that they've created in the NHL. It's refs managing games to keep teams relevant and not in the bottom of the standings. It's a lose-lose scenario. It's regardless of how you manage the game, you shouldn't do that. Just call penalties for what they are. Just call the rule book as is. But, at the end of the day, a lot of good things came out of this game. The Leafs scored on the power play. Hutchinson. Freddie Campbell is 9-0. The Leafs are 1 win away from being top of the standings and points leaders in the NHL. And their point streak continues and their win streak continues. And they got it done. They got it done in a highly entertaining game. It was that second and third period was just crazy. The Leafs get a power play. They turn over the puck. Calgary goes the other way, scores a shorthanded goal to tie it up. And then on the same power play, Matthews scores. And the Leafs haven't scored in 11 games on the power play. It's just that game was up and down, a roller coaster of emotions. But then, you see how good the Leafs are and how good they can be, and then, you think to yourself, we're less than 7 days away from the trade deadline. Adding a defender. Now, Kyle Dubas on TSN said he expects Rasmus Sandin to play games with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second half of the season and leading to the playoffs, to have him ready for the playoffs, have him available as an option in the playoffs. I think him and Dermott are going to be switching out a lot. And I think Rasmus Sandin can do a lot for the Toronto Maple Leafs power play. He's got a lot of vision. He's got a great shot. And Kyle Dubas also says that Nick Robertson is going to get some games leading up to the playoffs, and he's going to be available, and he's going to be an option for the Leafs. And Dubas noted his work ethic, the way he's dogging pucks. He's on top of it. He's got a great shot. He could be an option where Galchenyuk is playing now. Maybe Galchenyuk can move to the third line and add some more scoring punch to that third line. Maybe Nick Robertson goes onto the third line and creates some scoring punch, or maybe he plays with Nylander and Tavares. The Leafs have a lot of options and they have a lot of depth. So when it comes to trade options, they don't necessarily have to make a trade, but to add a power winger, a left winger like a Nick Foligno, maybe add a defenseman, maybe get some goalie help. There's just so much the Leafs can do, and it's the sky is the limit as to how good they can be this season and how far they can go in the playoffs. Because it looks like right now, Vancouver and Calgary and Ottawa are pretty much done for the season. There's no playoffs for these guys, so pretty much it's either Leafs Montreal or Leafs Edmonton in the first round, and that's going to be amazing. So you guys let me know. Who do you guys think the Leafs should go and trade for? Where is an area of need? What you guys think of Jack Campbell? He's been really good in his 9-0 run, but last game sub 900 save percentage, a couple of pucks leaked through him, and Dermott and Hall made some saves on the goal line, and Freddie Campbell got some support there. Let's hope Campbell could be better in the next game. Montreal and Ottawa coming up this week. All the Leafs got to do is take care of business going down the stretch. 500, 600 hockey will pretty much win you the division. So we know who the best team in Canada is. We said at the beginning of the season we're going to find out, and it's more than evident, more than clear. It's crystal who the best team in Canada is. So let me know what you guys think about that. And we'll see you after Wednesday's game. Stay safe, everybody. Enjoy the great weather in Toronto we're having. And go Leafs, go.